Hello and welcome to History 1301 and/or History 1302. I'm your professor this semester. I am Dr. Brett Olmsted, and it is a pleasure to teach you this class. I truly mean that because there's nothing better that I like to do than to teach history. Now, this is an introduction video for the entire course. I will promise to try to keep it short and sweet and simple as I can. So bear with me for a few minutes as I go into details about how you can best succeed in this class and get what you want out of it. Now, let's start with me. Now, I've always found that it's good and desirable for students to get to know their professor a little bit. I know as a student, I love that, and I hope you will indulge me for a few minutes. Now, again, my name is Dr. Brett Olmsted. I am originally from Michigan. I spent the first 30 years of my life there. I did attend the University of Michigan. I am also a product of a community college. I was a history major at undergrad. I had a minor in communication and a minor in anthropology, and just for fun, took as many Spanish courses as I could. After graduation in 2010, I had this crazy idea to go to graduate school. I applied to 4 different universities, got accepted at 2 of them, and eventually chose the University of Houston to pursue my PhD. Proudly, in 2017, I graduated with a PhD in history from the University of Houston, where my specific or larger idea as far as theme was 20th century U.S. history broadly, with a specific focus on Mexican-American history, with other interests including immigration history, labor history, political history. And I also did, say, migrations and world history. I say all that just to give you a little bit of background of who I am, what I enjoy talking about. I am not a military type historian where I spend a lot of time on wars in this class. Not that they're not important, that's just not my focus. My focus is more social, cultural history, and especially for underrepresented groups. That's what I like talking about. That's what I love researching about and reading about. Now, other things about me. I've been married, as of this recording, about 20 years. So I've been married a long time. My wife and I moved to Houston back in 2011, and we have 2 wonderful children. You see them on the screen pictured. My oldest loves to swim. She's on local swim teams, and she loves right now Harry Potter. You see at the bottom left photo where she's sitting in front of Hogwarts Castle at Universal Studios. My son is a very precocious, energetic, and at times infuriating ball of energy, who at this recording is 4 years old and will start kindergarten next year. My daughter, one more thing about her is she's in a Spanish immersion program. And so she is happily learning, essentially dual language. Now, other things about me. Well, in addition to what I do for a living, which I do really enjoy, I love teaching. I love talking about history, and I do love interacting with students. That said, I also love online classes. And so if you're taking this course online, please know that I support you fully. I will do all I can. I am someone who took more than a half dozen online courses during my undergrad. I've had good experiences. I've had bad experiences. I've had courses I had to drop as an online course. I know what works, what doesn't work, and I try my best to organize things in a way to make it most successful for you. Now, in addition to other things I enjoy, as you can see, I do love Disney. I also enjoy being a foodie. I enjoy sports. I enjoy pretty much movies of all type. So that's me. But I hope that wasn't too long for you, but let me switch gears now and talk about this course, because that's why you're here. And so let's talk about first the bad. On your screen is a statistic. Now, statistics are great, they're useful, they can be very important. In this case, this is a kind of a bad statistic. And this is taken not just from, say, here at San Jacinto College, This is kind of a nationwide average. At least it's a, say, Harris County wide average, Houston area average. If you include, places like Lone Star, HCC, University of Houston, on average, in these history survey courses, so we're talking about History 1301, History 1302, these freshman level survey courses, on average, every semester, somewhere between 20 and 30% of students will either drop, withdraw, incomplete, or fail. This is called the DWIF rate, non-affectionately. This is a sad statistic because the reality is this is a course that you have to pass. Now, whether you are a dual credit student, you need this for your junior year. This is required by the state for high school graduation. In addition, for every or nearly every college major here in Texas, you are required to pass History 1301, History 1302. Now, there are some alternatives to that. You could also take African American history, or you can take Mexican American history, which, by the way, is taught here at San Jacinto College. You can take both Mexican American History 1 and Mexican American History 2, which is a course I teach usually in the spring. So if you're interested, let me know. And again, you can take those courses in lieu of the U.S. history course, because the fact is African American history and Mexican American history are in fact U.S. history. But I digress. I want to spend the majority of this video talking about how you can prevent yourself from becoming, well, a DWIF rate, becoming the statistic. And it starts with, well, everyone's most loathful thing when it comes to college courses, the syllabus. But here's the reality. The syllabus is there for your protection, your parameters, your guidance, your information. And I do try to be as detailed as possible in the syllabus, along with accompanying documents such as the course schedule, so that you know what you need to do. Now, there are a lot of information on there that most students don't read. It's called boilerplate lawyer information that the college puts in there that can be very helpful, but it's also to cover their butts. But in addition, there are certain things that you need to know on there, such as, what's my textbook? Good news, your textbook is provided for you on Blackboard. It is free of charge, and we'll discuss that in a minute. In addition, the grading scale is on there. But if you're anything like me, when I was in school, the first two things I wanted to look at when I saw a syllabus for a new course was, number one, textbook, discuss that in a minute. And number two, it was, what am I being graded on? What are my assignments? When are they due? And then what percentage weight point value are they? Well, let's discuss that for a minute. So on your screen, you see two sides. Now again, these are on your syllabus. And they break down your assignment grades and their weights. Now, this is about the only thing that I do that is different from face-to-face to virtual. If you take my class face-to-face, you take it in the virtual online format, they are virtually identical in content. They are virtually identical in assignments. There is one small difference, though, as far as the grading scale goes. And this is just due to the nature of you attending a face-to-face class versus you attending it virtually online. So we're going to start with the left, which is the online courses. So if you're taking this as an online course, here is your grading breakdown. The first thing we're going to have is these major assignments, and there are 4 of them in almost all of my courses. These are major writing assignments. These are what you would think of as essays. I do not give multiple choice tests because, quite honestly, especially in an online class, you're going to Google the answer anyway. So these are essays. Some are shorter answer than others, but they are essay prompts. Now, we'll discuss logistics of that afterward, but there are 4 of them, and that is by design. I've broken the course into 4 different sections, and each section will have a kind of summation assignment to assess what we have discussed over that section of the course. Now, I chose 4 because with a 50% weight, that means each individual assignment is worth about 13 to 14%. That's great. When I only had it at 3 section assignments, If a student bombed one of them for whatever reason, just didn't do it, they were too busy, they were off topic, or heaven forbid, they cheated on it, plagiarized, copy pasted, etc., and got a 0 on it, that doomed their grade to a failing grade. Because that meant 33% of their, course was done. By having 4, it does allow students recovery. Now, you're not going to earn an A if you get a 0 on one of the section assignments, but you can still pass the course. And so having 4 section assignments is actually good for you as a student. And again, we will have more information in class. There is detailed information on Blackboard regarding these assignments. But again, that's at a later date. So there are 4 of those. In addition, weekly, you will have discussion boards. Now, I'm a big proponent of discussion boards for a couple reasons. Number one is, it's a way that, well, let me rephrase that. I've tried to have class discussions face-to-face. Now, obviously, an online class, that's not going to work. But even a face-to-face class, most students don't want to talk in class. There's traditionally 1 or 2 extroverts or know-it-alls who will answer every question I ever ask in class. And again, I'm not complaining. I love those people. I was one of those people. Those people are great because, well, they do talk. But that also means that throughout a semester, you only hear the opinions of 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 if I'm lucky. Well, that's not a diverse background of information, doesn't bring diverse opinions or diverse thoughts. Discussion boards force each one of you to give your thoughts. So that's one reason. Second reason is, so with that reason, it allows introverts to have their opinions heard. A more diverse thought, more diverse opinions, more diverse answers. The second reason is that it allows me to let you guys practice using what are called primary sources. In other words, interpretation of sources that were created in that era. This is something that students tend to struggle with, something that you will have to do for the section assignments. So I give you practice every week, very low stakes writing. And combined, those are worth, if you're in the online class, it's worth 35% of your overall grade. If you're in the face-to-face class, it's worth 40% of your overall grade. Now, please note, if those are worth 35 or 40% of your overall grade, if you don't do the discussion boards, you fail the course. If you don't do any of the discussion boards, you mathematically are going to fail the course. So please, these are important. They're heavily weighted, but they are low stakes writing assignment. All you have to do is read a packet of material I've put forth on Blackboard. So reading handout. You must use that reading handout to answer the prompt. This assignment, this discussion board first initial post is due by Thursday every week. It should be about 6 to 8 sentences long or longer. It needs to answer the question. It needs to incorporate something from the reading or assigned listening that you had to do for it. Some are podcasts to listen to, a couple. So you need to incorporate something directly from that and cite it. And you need to explain or analyze that source you chose. These are the 3 components of a good short answer to a discussion board prompt. Number 1, you must have a topic sentence argumentative statement that answers the question. Number 2, you need to incorporate something from the reading packet material. And number 3, you need to explain or analyze it. This should take about 6 to 8 sentences. It's a paragraph answer. And again, this is due by Thursday every night. The second thing you must do is by Saturday of every week. So by Thursday of every week, you have initial post, a paragraph, to answer the prompt. By Saturday of every week, you will need to reply to 2 classmates. Now, there are specific instructions on this on Blackboard, what it should look like, but essentially what I'm looking for is not, I like this, or you did a good job, I completely agree, or you suck. Again, none of those things. It needs to be what I would call substantive. It needs to carry on a conversation. It should be something that someone can reply to and say, I didn't think of it that way. Again, I'm not saying you have to disagree or have to critique. It's my job to critique. It should be something you found interesting. It should be something that can carry on a conversation, ask a question, pose something further, or add something of substance to a conversation. And again, you must do that for 2 classmates. So the grading breakdown for discussion boards is simple. You will earn up to 70 points for your initial post, and you will earn up to 15 points for each of your 2 response posts for a total of up to 100. Now, as long as you put forth a good faith effort in this, this should be an easy A for this part of your grade. Now, again, online class, there's a syllabus quiz. There's also one for the face-to-face class. That syllabus quiz is worth 5%. It's simple. It's due the first week. You just got to get it done. It's only 10 questions long. It's take it until you get 100%. So you have no excuse. Read the syllabus, take the quiz. Now, this is where, I guess, more divergent of the face-to-face versus online class. In the online class, there's 10% left. In the face-to-face class, there's only 5% left. So in the online class, because we're not meeting face-to-face, you do have to watch online lecture videos. Now, these are me, just like the way this was recorded. This is me lecturing the way I would in a face-to-face class. These videos are all on Blackboard. They're found within each of the weekly modules under course content. I will show that in a second. And they need to be watched in their entirety. Now, the way the grade works is that they are based off the percentage of the video you watched. So if you shut the video off 5 minutes early, you will not have 100% in the grade book. This is akin to a participation grade of you showing up to class and staying awake. And so your job as a student is to watch the lecture video in its entirety and take notes on it. But your grade is based on you simply watching the lecture video. Now, because in the face-to-face class, we don't have, we'll be doing live lecturing, obviously. I'm expecting student interaction. Instead, the last 5% of your grade will be a finals week assignment called an information literacy reflection assignment that we'll talk about close to the end of the semester. Now, before anyone asks, I do offer extra credit. Throughout the semester, there will be campus talks here on campus that can be attended either in person or sometimes virtually. And if you attend one of those that I tell you about or approve, or you find one interesting that you bring to me, I might approve it. And if you do that and do a short write-up on it, I will add 5 points to a section assignment. So I put it where it's worth the most. In addition, if you don't want to worry about campus talks, there are some pre-recorded ones on Blackboard. You will see a tab menu on the left column of Blackboard that will say extra credit. There are instructions, there are linked videos to YouTube. If you watch those and do what the prompt instructions say, you can earn, again, 5 points extra credit on section assignment. You can do 2 of them per semester. Fair enough? Okay. That's the grading breakdown. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. This is also available on Blackboard. It's also available on the syllabus. Guys, I'm begging you, be proactive. Do not procrastinate. Do not wait to the last minute. Do not wait to the end of the semester asking for extra credit or to bump your grade. The answer is no. I'm a firm believer in due dates. I have to have due dates by our accreditation here at San Jac College. We are not allowed to have open-ended dates. Now, if you have an emergency situation, obviously let me know. But do not wait to the end of the semester to start caring about your grade. Be proactive. Now, this is the point in a face-to-face version of this introduction talk. I would ask you, so what are some things you can do to do well in this class? Then I offer the students a chance to kind of think it through. But since we're doing this virtually, here's the answers. Number 1, take good notes. Now, this makes, whether it's the online class where you're watching my pre-recorded videos, or whether it's your face-to-face and you're hearing me live, you need to take good notes. The notes are going to be beneficial to you on the section assignments. They are your, essentially, foundation of those section assignments. So you need to take good notes. By the way, I also have a video on Blackboard that literally is how to take college notes. is it literally a video of me recording myself, watching myself lecturing while taking notes to show you how to take notes. It's very kind of Inceptionist idea. Number 2, read the textbook. Now, I am technically not requiring a textbook as far as I have one. It's on Blackboard. It's available to you. Should you read it? Yes. Am I going to specifically assess you on it? No. Will it help you in this class do better? Yes. Will it help you do better on section assignments? Yes. Will it help you do better on discussion boards? Yes. But I'm not requiring you to read it. So it's there. Students who read it tend to do better, but it is technically optional. Number 3, big one, manage and budget your time, stipulate in your work. Guys, you cannot fall behind. My weeks are very static. I am very homogeneous. I am very repetitive. So every week, this is your schedule. Whether you're online or virtual, whether you're online and virtual or you're face-to-face, it is very similar. Every week, you have lecture videos, whether it's videos pre-recorded or it's me face-to-face. Watch or attend those lectures. Secondly, by every Thursday, you have initial post discussion board due. You have a reply by Saturday. 2 replies to his classmates by Saturday. That is your week every week. So you need to either attend or watch lectures, take notes, and then do your discussion board. Now, every 4 weeks approximately, again, that varies a little bit based on how the class breaks down, but every 3 to 4 weeks, you will have a section assignment. Now, those section assignments will always be due on a Sunday night to give you the full weekend to work. I'll try to give you the extra day. And those will be turned in at turnin.com on Blackboard. The only exception to that is during week 1, where you also have a syllabus quiz. And then also in week 16, finals week, when you have your last assignment due. And that'll be a short week. But other than that, the middle, from week 1 all the way through week 15, your week is pretty standard with me. I don't change much because I think it helps students to have a sense of, well, comfort. You need to make sure you stay up on your work. Do not get behind. If you are falling behind, reach out to me. I can be understanding. I can be helpful. I can be supportive. I can't do those things if you don't talk to me first. Don't reach out to me 3 days after an assignment was due and say, yeah, I was just a little stressed out. I couldn't do it. That doesn't work because you're also still 3 days late. Now, my late policy is on Blackboard. It is in the syllabus, and it will be part of the syllabus quiz. Pay attention to that. But if you're having extenuating circumstances, please let me know. Finally, be an active learner, aka ask good questions. Guys, I love questions. I love to talk about history, and if something piques your interest, fantastic, let's talk about it. Whether it's the face-to-face sections or whether it's online, shoot me an email. Guys, we're going to talk about a lot of things in this class. Some things are going to be very interesting to you. Some things won't be. Maybe they're just necessary because they're part of the story. Some things you might not like, and that's okay. But if something piques your interest, ask a question. Don't understand something, ask a question. Number 1 is, and very selfishly, you will learn more. You will learn far more by asking a question than just sitting there passively wondering, I wonder something. So ask a question. So that's how you do well in this class. Now, to help you a little bit, here's Blackboard. Now, Blackboard is important. Now, I know some of you use the app to do it. Some of you only look at the calendar, look at due dates. Guys, Blackboard is your best friend for me. Your home page is the announcement page. I will make weekly announcements. I will make 1 announcement per week, usually on Monday morning, that will recap the previous week and talk about the upcoming week. I will then also offer a second announcement during a week if you have a section assignment due. Just to remind you, hey guys, don't forget section assignment this week. Again, just as a reminder. I'm not going to inundate you every day with an announcement. It's not worth it. It's not worth my effort, not worth my time, because quite honestly, you will stop reading them. So I will offer short, concise announcements at least once a week. a second time for reminders. Now, after that, you should read through things like Start Here. It is a breakdown of the grades, of my policies. It tells you what you need to know. The syllabus calendar, if you click on that, I have not only my syllabus is there, but also a course schedule and a course calendar to help you organize and plan and budget your time. But your main place you need to go, if you look on the screen, is right here at course content. This is going to be your best friend. So what you need to do is go to course content. Now, once you go in there, there are a bunch of folders. The top few folders, you can't see them all pictured here right now, are things like lecture videos, are things like I have provided outlines for you on my lectures to get you started, to help you organize. Below that are the weekly module folders. Now, these are all labeled. These are labeled by weeks. I call them modules, but they are essentially weeks. They are then, so module 1 is week 1, and then the dates of that week. Now, I understand it says January. I did this particular, screen capture during the spring session. But below that will be a quick overview, read, watch, and do. This is what you should read. You can't understand. The textbook is optional. What you need to watch. Now, when I say watch, it's more for online classes, but my face-to-face classes, this is what we're covering during the week in lecture. And if you are absent for any reason, you can watch those online. The pre-recorded lecture videos are online for face-to-face students. And then finally, number 3, the do. These are things you need to do this week. So week 1 is DB, stands for discussion board 1, introduce yourself, and then the syllabus quiz. Week 2, you will have discussion board 2, which is, and if you're in 1301, it's called Acts of Settlement. And then once you click on one of those module folders, so you go here and you hit click, and you get this. I give you an overview of everything you need to watch and do for that week a little more in-depthly. Now, please don't be scared by the 10 lecture videos. This particular screen capture is for an 8-week course. Or actually, I take that back. This is for a summer course, this one is, which is a lot shorter, condensed version. And again, this introduction applies to whether it's 16-week, 8-week, 10-week summer, 5-week summer, or even my 3-week mini. Any of those things this course applies to, this intro video applies to. Now, below that, you will see links to the syllabus quiz. You will see links to the textbook. You will see links to you see a folder for lecture videos that if you click that, all the lecture videos you have to watch that week are in there. You will also see a link to the discussion board. Again, all the links you need are right there. They will take you to where you need to go. Now, if you forget, if you don't remember where they're at, you can also go to the left column and you will see on the left menu column, there will also be the textbook, the discussion board, and also not pictured there, but it is there for you, section assignment folder. If you go to the discussion boards, you can see this is what it looks like. You need to go in there, create a new thread inside each one of them, and it also explains you need to post by every Thursday with response posts by Saturday. Textbook. It is a free textbook. It is online. It is a PDF copy. It is called the American Yawp. Now, like any textbook, it's not perfect, but if you need something to help you follow along or give you information, it's available to you. I would advise you to at least take a look at it. You should read it. Now, the big elephant in the room since December of last year, or December of 2022, is AI. Now, AI is not new. Essentially, what most AI programs are more advanced text generative systems or large language models, LLMs. Guys, I'm not stupid. I'm really not. I know the majority of you probably have dabbled or used either a little or a lot, have used ChatGPT or other AI programs. Here's the thing. I will have an official policy in my syllabus that you can read that is the quote unquote contract for this class that you need to follow. I am not someone who hates or fears AI. I believe it can be a very useful tool. I believe it has its place. In fact, I believe someone who's an expert in something, it will actually make them essentially an expert on steroids. It'll make them even better, more efficient, allow them to produce more because they will do more menial tasks without making them have to go through them. Again, there is a real purpose for AI. It can be a lifesaver, it can be a time saver, it can do incredible things. But I do not want you using AI in this class. This is a freshman level course. It's the same reason, honestly, to give you the more of the older equivalent to this. Students have long asked me if I would give them what would be called a good example of one of my section assignments or a good example of a good essay. And my answer is always no. And the reason for that is that if I do that, what happens is the majority of students at the freshman level, what they end up doing is copy and pasting. It's like when your friend says, hey, can I borrow your essay? I just need to get some ideas. And what happens invariably is that that person ends up copying and pasting large chunks from that paper, or all of it ends up being plagiarized. And then both that student and the person that they copied from both get in trouble. The same thing happens with AI. If you copy and paste one of my prompts into ChatGPT, number one is, while the paper will be quote unquote well written grammatically, usually because of its limitations, it is still going to be no better than a C paper because it's often very generic and it's not offering specifics that I require that are outlined on each section assignment sheet. So there's that. It's not going to be the greatest paper. Again, grammatically speaking, it'll sound good. So the issue is for me, it's an academic dishonesty issue. It's a plagiarism issue because you are literally copying and pasting from somewhere else that's not your own thoughts. You are not doing the working, you're not doing the work, you're not doing the thinking. You are merely copying and pasting. Guys, that is not going to college. That's not learning. You are literally trying to outsource your thinking to a machine. Now, in some instances, if you already are an expert in that field, fantastic. None of you all are experts in history at this point. This is why you're going to college, is to learn to be better thinkers. And a large part of this course, of the learning outcomes of this course, is critical thinking. And if you use AI exclusively, you are outsourcing that critical thinking, or trying to at least, because technically AI can't critically think. It regurgitates, it predicts. So that's not learning. The goal of this class is to make you learn. So here's my policy. I'm not going to say and sit up here and tell you should never use ChatGPT or other AI, because you probably will. What I'm telling you is, if you're one of those students who thinks I can get away with it, I will just use it as a starting point to get some clarifications. Well, number one, you don't need to, because for almost every section assignment that's a longer essay, I give you an outline. I give you a starting point. It's there for you. So you don't necessarily need to go there for help. If you have questions, ask me. But let's just say you ignore all that and you still go to ChatGPT or other AI programs. Okay. It could be used properly. You may be the exception. And you may use it for an idea. Then you may write your own paper. It might be great. Fantastic. But my policy, because please know, all my assignments are turnitin.com as far as the major assignments, the section assignments. Turnitin checks for AI as well as does for plagiarism. I get a percentage of the paper that is likely AI written. If that percentage is above 75%, we will have a talk and you will likely get a 0 on the assignment. Period. End of story. Unless you can prove to me you didn't cheat. Because quite honestly, I view copy pasting from AI as cheating. To me, it's academic dishonesty. It's academic misconduct. You can't do that. I would rather have a quote unquote bad paper written in your own thoughts and words that I can work with to help you improve than reading this technically flawless paper that's a bunch of just generic garbage that's written by AI. So if it's above 75%, you are likely going to get a 0. That will severely dampen your grade. Again, unless you can prove otherwise. Some ways you can prove otherwise is come and have a talk about it and be able to prove that you are an expert in it, that you understand the topic really well. Another way you could do it is if you can show me your version history of your paper via Google Docs or the online version of Microsoft Word. I would advise you to use those 2 programs. Again, you have access as a Sanjak college student to Microsoft Word Online. Show me the version history. Let me see your edits. Let me see what you did to create this paper. Share it with me. That could prove otherwise. But otherwise, the decision's going to be, well, it's a 0. Now, if your paper is somewhere between, say, about 40% and 75%, you may not get a 0, but we are going to have a talk. And you will likely not earn a passing grade for that assignment. Again, there are exceptions to every rule. There are exceptions to, this. We will have a talk about it, though. And again, it's going to be incumbent upon you to prove otherwise. Now, you may think that's harsh, but the fact is, if you write it, it's not going to get a false positive from an AI checker. I'm sorry, it's not. I have written a 350-page, essentially research paper, dissertation for my PhD program. If I copy and paste that into an AI checker, it will not come back as AI written. And I have pretty darn good grammar in this dissertation. So it's not about the flawless grammar, it's about the way the predictive text works. So, guys, please don't use it. Do your own thinking. If you have questions, come talk to me. But guys, please don't do this. I don't want to have to give you or put a 0 in the grade book, because that's what end up you earn by not doing the thinking for yourself. I need to know what you learned, not what a machine spits out. Now, happier stuff. History. What is history? Well, a lot of students don't like history. The fact is, I love it. In this course, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. And there's a whole lot of ugly in our history. Now, I have a couple different quotes here, but I want to hit the top one for a second as we close here. History, according to James Baldwin, who is an intellectual African-American queer thinker from the 1960s, says history, as nearly no one seems to know, is not merely something to be read. And it does not refer merely or even principally to the past. On the contrary, the great force of history comes from the fact that we carry it within us, are unconsciously controlled by it in many ways, and history is literally present in all that we do. Guys, history is a part of our lives. The fact that you're taking this course face-to-face or virtually, the time you take it is a force of history. If you're a dual credit student, that opportunity I didn't have as a student in high school, take dual credit classes. That's a product of modern history. If you're taking this course as an online course, there's a good chance maybe you're doing that because of the changes after COVID. That changed how we do learning a lot. Even though I was someone who took it 20 years ago as an online course. Where you live, what scholarship program or what program you're in here at Sanjak is a product of historical forces about whether the area you lived in, the house you grew up in, the neighborhood, the county, the state. These things impact how you live in daily life. History is ever changing. Our understanding of history is ever changing. Guys, there'll be things that, again, you may agree with, some things you don't agree with I talk about. And that's fine. That's good. That's what it's supposed to be. History is meant to be a debate where we can respectfully even disagree. As long as it's not just, I think. No. You need evidence to prove it and back up your opinions. So guys, this class, I will probably make you mad occasionally. I will tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. I will make fun of every U.S. president. From George Washington through Joe Biden. If you take me for both hats or not. History is important. And the last thing I want to say is this. Number one, in this class, my big theme is understand that there is not just one meta history, not one master narrative. There's social history, cultural history, political history, economic history, military history, global history, micro history. There are multiple sides to every story. And I can't touch it all, guys. I can't. There is not enough time in this world to discuss every part of history, discuss every side of every story. I am hitting highlights that I think are important, that I think are narratively driven to impart to you why we are the way we are today, where we came from, where we're going. And throughout this course, we will ask some big questions, such as what is the main role of the federal government? How it's changed over time. We'll ask about what does it mean to be an American, or better yet, who is allowed to become American? And what does that mean? Last thing. I believe wholeheartedly, unabashedly, this is the most important course you will ever take. Number one is because it teaches critical thinking. That's important. But number two, the majority of my students, I teach a lot of dual credit students who are 16 years old, which you likely then won't be able to vote in the next election, but you will soon. The other half of my students are of age now to vote. Democracy only works. This country only works its best when everyday citizens, you all, take part in the political system, i.e., you vote. The problem is, I would hope as a society, we want educated voters. We want what's called civic engagement. In other words, you don't go there and just vote, well, that's how my dad told me to vote. No. You vote based on the candidate, the party, the platform that you feel is best, not just for you and your family, but your community, your county, your neighborhood, your state. You vote with knowledge, making conscious decisions to make this country better. Because the fact is, our democracy only works, only gets better as a country when you participate. And when you do so with knowledge, trying to help this country live up to its grand ideals of all people created equal, equality before the law. And so I want to challenge you to take what you learn in this class and apply it to life. Apply it to when you vote for the ballot box, whether it's in 2024 or after. So this class will teach you our history so you can have a better understanding of where we've been and where we're going and why. Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. Otherwise, let's have a great semester. Until next time, take care and bye-bye.